Maybe. All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Junkyard. I am Spencer Cantor, also known as Number 11.
I am Jovanni, also known as Scotty, Jovanni, too Hotty.
Scotty Jovanni, when did that come about?
Can you get his name right?
Yeah. I'm telling you. No, it was I can't remember what meet and greet. It could have been Daniel's. It was like, Scotty, I'm Jovanni too Hotty. Do you do the worm? So I ran with it.
Nice. I'm Dennis Day Jr., otherwise known as DDJ.
All right, guys, how we doing this week? Big week in wrestling.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Yeah, so let's just jump right into it. Let's start with WWE. I think the big thing, we're going to hold off on the Retribution just for a little while. I want to start off with the WWE draft. You had the first round, or the first night, last night on SmackDown. The big thing coming out of that one is the New Day is broken up. Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston are back. They're going to Raw, and Big E to SmackDown. A lot of people that I've talked with are very upset about that, and some people have even started a petition. I think that's crazy. But what's y'all's thoughts on it? I personally, I like it. I want Big E to get a singles run because he's been doing great and possibly a world title run.
I'm actually with you on that as well, too. I mean, like, the New Day as a trio, I mean, for them to last as long as they have, I mean, we're talking almost 6 years, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, which is pretty remarkable by today's standards and stuff. But yeah, for the same reason, Spence, that you just mentioned, yeah, Big E is, I think, ready. I kind of hope with this split that he gets a little bit away from the whole New Day and kind of goes back to when he debuted, when he maybe not necessarily doing the 5 count, but I mean, just being like the serious badass that he looks like he is made to be.
Right.
I don't know. I'm toying back and forth with emotions on it because, I mean, I'm a New Day fan.
Right.
You see Woods and Kofi come back, and you're excited. They got a title match. You're pumped. They win, and then freaking Big E is gone.
Yeah.
Why'd you break my heart like that? You built me up and ripped it out. But
yeah. And the whole thing was like they built it like they won the titles, and then they show Xavier and Kofi going to Raw, and then the big thing was, oh, where's E's name? Right after on cue, Big E to SmackDown, and then they just cut to a shot. It's just like they don't know how to react. Basically, they're flabbergasted. Yeah. So I think the way they handled it was good. Some people have had some criticisms. I think Sean Ross Sapp, he's criticized the way they did it. I mean, we'll see how things shake up on Raw. I mean, they might just go back on and just send them back to SmackDown. I don't think so. I think this is going to be the permanent change. I did hear somewhere that they might have like still do the New Day stuff possibly on both brands.
Nice.
So we'll see on that part.
So one other thing I want to touch on with the draft, which I even hated this more than the whole thing with New Day.
Yeah.
Was they split up Heavy Machinery.
Yeah.
Barry Tucker.
Yeah, because I mean, granted, Otis was like kind of basically being primed to be the breakout star of the group and stuff. Yeah. But Tucker's underrated, I think, and I don't think. Yeah. I mean, while I'm excited, he's gonna get a chance to maybe show what he can do on his own. I felt like that this whole Heavy Machinery thing still had some life in it, so I'm actually more upset about that breakup than the New Day breakup. But I guess the blow would have been softened if maybe they sent Otis to Raw and maybe kept Tucker on SmackDown, because then they can go back to Otis and Mandy, which again, that's something else that I just don't understand why they just
cut away.
Exactly out of nowhere, when a lot of people, including myself, were really getting into that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm not a fan of breaking up tag teams in like the draft. That's a horrible way just to end up. We've all put in time with these tag teams, and Heavy Machinery especially. I'm a big dude. I like seeing the big dudes, tag teaming in there.
Yeah.
And when you break up a tag team, you have to have that kind of like barbershop moment when you're like, oh, okay, this is why they broke up. The draft, I just feel like it's just a breakup. It's just, hey, guess what? Go.
Yeah. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what they do with Otis and Tucker. I think I saw somewhere like, I think just like Tucker, probably the way it's going, he could be released like in 6 months or something. So it's unfortunate that could be a possibility. And hopefully they do something with Otis, because they have not done anything with him. Now they have him, Miz, Morrison, all of them. Hopefully he does get to keep the briefcase, but it's looking like he's probably going to lose that very soon.
Yeah, and you also look at Miz and Morrison went to Raw as well, too.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. All right. Do you want to get right into Retribution, or do you guys want to talk about anything else that happened in the WWE?
Can I have one thing on the draft?
Yeah, go ahead.
I really hated this year's draft. Just not the picks, not because of anything. I hate how it felt rushed.
Okay.
There was no suspense. There was no this person to Raw, this person SmackDown. It was just, oh, guess what? A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yeah.
Gone. I didn't like that.
Okay.
One thing I did actually like, and this was probably like my favorite thing that happened on the draft on Friday, was Rollins going to SmackDown, because I really feel like he didn't have much really.
He was done on Raw.
On Raw, yeah. And I mean, and the fact that they set Mysterio and Dominic and Murphy, so you're going to get a continuation of that storyline.
Yeah.
Once that finally runs its course, Rollins is going to have all these other new guys to work with. I think Rollins going to SmackDown was probably my favorite move of the draft.
Yeah, I definitely think that was a move that we've been wanting for a while, and then they kept him on Raw. It came like the Monday Night Messiah, Monday Night Raw, and it's like, oh no, he's never going to go to SmackDown. But then it's like, nope, he's run his course. Let's put him on SmackDown. Like, there's so many great matches he can have over there. So I am excited about the move too. A little, hesitant, bringing the Mysterios, Murphy, and everything, but story still has to continue. There's still more legs in that story to tell.
Yeah. And then you still got your free agents left. I think the only ones that weren't drafted or signed, I believe Mickie James and I believe Lindsay Dorado and Grand Metalik, I think, are the only ones from the night one of the draft that still haven't been assigned to a brand yet. So
right. So probably going to get those probably maybe not Monday night, because those are kind of lower names. Not Mickie James. She'll probably be in that draft, but maybe I think Kalisto was drafted.
He was drafted to SmackDown. But Mickie James was not, and I mean, I guess I'm not surprised. I mean, the way they've been treating her lately,
Yeah. So that's unfortunate. All right, let's get into it. Retribution. Ollie is the leader of Retribution. Did you guys see that coming at all?
No.
Okay, so they did their job there.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to throw it to you, Dennis. Ollie's the leader of Retribution. What do you think now?
Okay. So this is probably going to be the first time I've talked about Retribution where I'm totally not shitting all over it.
Okay.
And this is why, because one, I didn't see it coming, at least then.
Right.
Because he goes out of the ring, he's going to fight with the Hurt Business, and then he goes out to the ring like he's going to go confront him. Then he turns around and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is interesting. But then I thought about it, and I think it's got something that's going to come back. They're going to go back to the whole hacker storyline from a few months ago, where I think Ali is going to, be revealed as maybe that was him, and that was maybe the actual start of Retribution.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm not totally shitting on this, and I'm actually a little intrigued, is because I don't know if you saw Ali's Instagram post where he basically had a picture of him. He had a picture of Dominic Dijakovic, Dio Madden, Mia Yim, Shane Thorne, basically everybody that's a part of Retribution under their new names.
Right.
Yep.
And he, and I who they really are. So what I could easily see happening, and I would actually like this, is Ali comes out, he talks about, okay, back, when Kofi Mania was big and thing, that was my moment. Because if you remember, Ali was getting that push. And if I'm not mistaken, the original plan was it was supposed to be Ali versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 35 for the title. But, Ali, I believe, gets a concussion. So he's taken out. They pop Kofi in. Kofi, catches fire, in that Kofi match and stuff. And then Kofi Mania is born. And here is, Ali's sitting in the back, I got hurt. I come back, where's my chance again, and stuff. And I think that's what he's going to play into. He's going to be like, I was on top of the world, and because I got hurt, you decided to take this all away from me.
Right.
And I think he's going to be like, like Dominik Dijakovic was supposed to be called up, and instead you're going to put a Bane mask on him. And Dio Madden gets destroyed by Brock Lesnar in the announce table, and what happens to him? He goes back into obscurity. So I really think if he steps up, and and it'd be interesting to see the promo he cuts on Raw. He basically, reveals the identities of all these guys and be like, this isn't T-Bar, this is Dominik Dijakovic, this isn't, this is Dio Madden, not Mace.
Yeah, drop those names.
They drop the names and the mask and stuff, and just let them, be themselves. I really think that's going to be the swift kick in the ass that this angle really needs to maybe pick up some steam. And
right.
So, like I said, right now, I'm cautiously optimistic. Emphasis on the word cautiously. So, all right, guys, what do you got? Yeah.
I think DDJ pretty much hits it on the head, man. Yeah. I am interested. When Ali came out, I was like, okay, we have a leader. You can kind of put the dots together on what motive should be.
Right.
You kind of see if done right, this might actually not be a cluster that it initially was.
Right.
But once again, it is the E, so we'll see what they do.
Yeah, there's still plenty of times to mess this all up. Like they could have this very interesting angle with Ali and then revealing all the members and somehow still screw it up. So
Cena will kill them all.
Hey, he might come out and just be like, oh, okay. Let's see, 7, 8 of you guys. Okay, I'll just bury you all.
Exactly. Next style.
Yeah. Hopefully that's not the case. I think I'm on board with you, Dennis. I think I am cautiously optimistic. I like Ali being revealed as the leader, and then it could tie back into his storyline before WrestleMania 35, him getting injured, and then Kofi getting that position, which don't get me wrong, I was happy Kofi got in that position. Kofi Mania was the thing. He got the title.
Well, me deserved it. I was I was all good with that. It's just like it said, Mustafa Ali is going to kind of pull a Raven and be like, what about me?
Right.
Yep.
And then, like you said, we do have the hacker thing that they could tie into, but I'm kind of thinking they might just drop that and just go with the motivation from WrestleMania before he got injured and everything. But, there is still that possibility they could do in the hacker storyline. So we'll see how that all plays out. So like you, Dennis, I am cautiously optimistic, but again, it is the E, so they could always mess it up. And then there's been people have been comparing them to the Dark Order in AEW, like saying they're like the Wish.com version of Dark Order. So with this change, like Ali being the leader, do you kind of still maybe feel that way if you did, or you maybe see they might be splitting apart and becoming two different things now?
Dark Order still top.
Yeah, I was gonna say I never really looked at Retribution as a copycat or Wish.com version of the Dark Order, because the Dark Order is actually entertaining to watch, especially on being the Elite. Like I have not been really overly entertained by anything with Retribution until this whole Ali, thing being introduced. So I've never thought that to begin with.
I'm drinking the Dark Order Kool-Aid with Spencer. I don't have a number. Well, maybe number 2.
No, that's Stu Grayson.
Yeah, he doesn't have a number.
He just doesn't have a number.
Yeah.
But I'm in with them.
Yeah, me
all
too.
Right. So I say we just jump right into it. Let's go into AEW talk. The big thing I want to talk to you guys about, we had Cody versus Brody Lee in a dog collar match. First off, the match was awesome. It was great. Cody got color, Brody got color. Very well told story. Not taking anything away from that. I want to talk about the ending. You had Cody, who was TNT champion like 3-4 weeks ago. He got demolished by Brody Lee in about 3 minutes. Brody became champion. And then Cody comes back after filming his TV show, Go Big Show or whatever it's called. He comes back, new black hair. People maybe think, okay, maybe a heel turn's coming because he's got like all black clothing and everything. And then they set up the dog collar match. And I personally was thinking, okay, Brody's going over. Like, there's no way Cody can win this. What does Cody do? Cody wins and becomes the TNT champion again for the second time in his career. All right. Before I go on my rant and everything, I want to hear y'all's thoughts. Do you think that was the right move? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Explain.
Cody is, for lack of better words, the face that runs the place.
Yeah.
Like it or not, Cody is the lifeblood of AEW. He is the EVP. He is the fans, one of the fans' tops. I think his unwillingness to want to turn heel, as in turning on the fans,
right,
is kind of weird. He's taking this tiptoe pattern on his slight heel turn, not full heel turn. I'm still here for the fans.
Yeah.
But I think Cody takes the belt to put over another talent that would be more believable for the talent to be Cody than it would be Mr. Brody.
Okay. So do you see that talent being Orange Cassidy next week or possibly someone else down the line?
I could feel Orange Cassidy winning next week, but I'm not saying it's Orange Cassidy. I think there's going to be somebody else that is going to come in and going to dethrone Cody. I think also they may want to get back to the open challenges because they were catching fire with that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I think an open challenge competitor will be the one who takes the belt off of Cody next.
Okay. Do you want to throw out any names or just kind of wait and see how it happens?
Want to see who's out there. Don't want to throw one out now. Personally, I would have loved Warhorse.
Warhorse would have been good, yeah.
But we'll see where they go.
Okay. Dennis.
So I'm kind of in the middle on this.
Okay.
And let me preface this by saying I'm a big Cody fan. He is actually my favorite wrestler right now.
Okay.
Kind of, and Jovanni kind of touched on, part of the reason why I'm okay with this, and that's if it's going to be the end result is that he's going to put someone over. Like I said, maybe Orange Cassidy, which I think there'd be people out there that would be very happy with it because of how over he is. I'm not sure how I feel about that yet because to me, I don't think right now Orange Cassidy needs a belt.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, so yeah, so I could see that, but I also have and I'm going to kind of, play fantasy booker here and say that if you kind of go back to the match and look at the reactions of the Dark Order when Brody lost, it almost seemed like they were all disappointed in him.
Yes.
And maybe they're going to start thinking he's not the man he says he is or not the leader that he is. So maybe they lose their faith in him. And maybe with Cody cutting that promo saying, "Oh, I'm going to be, a baby face or, I'm not going to, go to the dark side or anything like that." Maybe that's a swerve and maybe he does it subtly, but maybe he somehow does I'm not sure if you guys are, Star Wars fans or not, but the whole, I believe it was Order 66.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they do something like that because again, Cody's he's a big Star Wars guy or something, and maybe they can do something on that where basically he does something or says something, and basically he takes over the Dark Order, and they all turn on Brody Lee. So
that'd be big.
Wow.
I actually heard about this on someone called in on Busted Open, and I was like, that'd actually be really interesting and stuff.
See, I've kind of seen the little seeds that they've been sowing between Evil Uno and Brody's disconnect. Yeah. And I was thinking that could, soon come up as a big Dark Order blow up is Evil Uno versus Brody. But we'll see.
Right. But now, okay, so now going to the other side of this where I'm not really I don't like it. It's because, and it's not because I don't think he deserves that belt. I think he's done great things with it, such as the open challenge and stuff.
Yes.
But, and I think it was all over social media after he won and stuff. There are people out there comparing him to Triple H and his run in the early 2000s where it seemed like he wasn't putting anybody over. And, he was using his stroke or whatever, his power that he was gaining to basically stay at the top. And I don't want to see Cody fall into that, that perception where he's basically AEW's version of Triple H. But I mean, and that's kind of why that's why I didn't like it, because I'm thinking, and plus I felt like Brody Lee could have maybe gone over and then they do one more match and then Cody goes over to get the belt, or Cody has to basically put his career on the line, or some sort of like, if he doesn't win, he has to join the Dark Order, do something where the stakes are high, and then he finally gets the belt back.
Yeah.
I felt like that it was too soon. But again, like I said, with my scenario with the whole maybe Cody takes over the Dark Order, I would be for it if it leads to that or him putting over. But if it's just simple, just to get the belt back, and the whole, power play and stuff, I'm not cool with that. So, Spencer, I'm going to lead to you.
All right. Well, Jovanni, you definitely provided like some good points and everything for Dennis, you too, and then you provided some good points why you didn't think so. I personally think it was the completely wrong decision. I think Cody should have lost and not regained the TNT title. Brody should still be champion. And if he fights Orange next week or fights somebody next week, and he does put that belt on them sooner rather than later, and then I still think there's a heel turn coming, and I do like the idea about the Order 66 thing, about him possibly taking over the Dark Order or being involved in that storyline more. I find that very interesting. So if that actually comes to fruition, I would probably be all for that. See, I'm like, when I first saw that, and when I watched the match live, I was like, why the hell did Cody go over? It makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just came back from the show, lost the title, put Brody over huge, the Dark Order over huge. The Dark Order are probably one of the hottest acts in all of professional wrestling, any brand, anywhere. So just to see Cody come back, fight Brody in this awesome dog collar match, and then go over is just like, what was it all for?
Right.
But if I've said this on multiple posts I've done, like on Twitter or whatever, in our group, if Cody turns heel, or maybe like a slow heel turn is coming, that'll be interesting to see how that does. And maybe I'll get why he got the belt back. Cause like Dennis said, he might be going in the Triple H role during like the early 2000s, the Reign of Terror, him going over. But then also, like, you see people are kind of comparing Cody to Jeff Jarrett, cause he had his promotion and he always, like, at the beginning, I guess he was champion.
Yeah.
So possibly they might run into that storyline too. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. But right now, I'm not happy with the decision. I still think Brody should be champion, but I am willing to see how it plays out, because AEW, they do know how to do long-term booking and storytelling. So I am willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. But just when I first saw it, in my initial reactions, I was not happy with it. So that's my thoughts on all of that.
All right. So
let's get into the other big thing that happened on AEW. Chris Jericho's 30th anniversary. I want to just go ahead and give a plug to this shirt right here.
Nice.
Shout out to my boy Dustin for hooking us up. I got Dennis, your shirt's coming soon.
Yeah, thanks for the tracking number. And yeah, Dustin, thank you so much for helping us out, man. We really appreciate it.
Yep. Everybody will get your shirt soon if you're watching this. But yeah, 30th anniversary. It's amazing. Like, he is like the master of reinvention. He's come back. He's been in New Japan, everywhere. Like, it's amazing for him to still be around. So then just kind of, we'll talk more about, just briefly about the match, but more maybe like go into like the anniversary. You had, and the angle with MJF, you had Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus Serpentico and Luther. Okay match. Nothing special.
Yeah. I think saying that it was okay, I think you're being a little generous.
Little generous.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know if Luther should have been in that spot. I guess they said it was like 30 years in the making. So just probably from his time.
They've known each other for a while. Yeah. Good friends.
Like, if I'm not mistaken, like, Luther was like one of like the first guys I think Jericho worked with when he was just starting out or something.
Right.
Yep.
So I get why they did that, and like, I'm cool with that. But yeah, I didn't think the match was that good. So, but I get why it was done that way.
I'm going to spin this for Jericho. Luther and Jericho have been in the business the same amount of time.
Right.
You could see the day and night comparison between what Luther put on and what Jericho still puts on.
Right.
So, I mean, there's part of the reason for Jericho's staying power is he's still able to perform while Luther looked like he may have not have needed to be in the ring anymore.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, so I want to talk more about the angle after. So you have right now MJF is kind of inserting himself into this Chris Jericho storyline. He's teasing this big announcement on the 1 year anniversary of Dynamite, which is this Wednesday. Then he came out, brought him a picture of himself and a clown, which was funny as hell. And then Jericho came out, smashed the clown over the head, and then you think maybe they're about to get at something. They're just like, nah. So one, do you guys maybe have predictions for what the announcement might be? And two, with MJF being in the storyline with Jericho, do you possibly see maybe a storyline or a match coming from it, possibly at Full Gear?
As to what I think MJF's announcement's gonna be, is I don't think it's gonna be that he joined the Inner Circle, because he just strikes me as, I don't see him, at least there's so many guys there. I could see if I knew that, like, and I don't know how many people or you guys are familiar with MLW, but the stable that he was a part of in MLW, the Dynasty, with Alexander Hammerstone and Richard Holiday. I mean, those guys were great. And if I knew that those two guys were free agents and possibly coming in, I could see that being an announcement.
Okay.
I just think it's going to be something over that's just going to be like that, that son of a bitch, he got us again. It's he's going to do something to make us, hate him even more.
Right.
Now, in terms of where I think these two are going to go, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be Full Gear or not.
Right.
But I am hoping for a match or some sort of storyline, because my God, the promos. Epic, because of how good these two guys are. And I think this would be one of those very few times where I would be more excited for the promos than the actual match, because I just think that it's going to be pure gold with these two.
Absolutely. Jovanni?
All right, here we go. I'm gonna spoil it right now, everybody, before Dynamite comes on. I'm sorry. MJF's announcement is he found Sammy's jacket.
Simple. Oh my God, I was about ready to jump through the screen and you just nailed it. Oh my God, that was good.
That's gonna be I'm telling you, I feel it in my bones.
And you know what? Now that I never even thought about that, but oh my God, dude, if that happens on Wednesday, I'm gonna be glad I'm gonna be home alone, because I'm gonna lose it. Because that would just be and you know what? That would be typical MJF right there.
Yeah. Big announcement. I found it. Here you go.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh my God.
Yeah, building this big announcement. It's like, hey, I found Sammy's jacket. And they're like, oh, that's awesome.
And then the rest of the audience is just
they're like, what?
I'm laughing. I mean, that's brilliant right there, Jovanni. Well done.
Get me on the books.
Jovanni for AEW booking.
There we go. Confirmed. Other than that, long term, I do want to see a match between these two. But I really want to see that Wardlow and MJF match first.
Right. And that's eventually coming down the line.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So speaking of Wardlow, he's actually going to be in that championship tournament that's going to be winner decided at Full Gear. Right, I think we know 6 out of the 8 right now, and everybody thinks it's going to be Kenny versus Hangman, which I still think so, unless something happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Could we possibly see Wardlow winning that?
No. Because Wardlow's a big guy.
Right.
I've seen him. I saw him a couple of times at Warrior Wrestling shows before he got signed by AEW, and I had never seen him up until then.
Right.
But I don't really see other than he's a big guy, I haven't seen enough of him to be that he's ready for that, kind of thing. I mean, down the line, giving him a chance to develop his, mic skills and his, his in-ring repertoire, definitely maybe in a year or two, but right now, no, just because I think he still needs some seasoning.
Yeah, okay. This tournament's gonna provide a coming out party for him. I think he's gonna look strong in the first round,
right,
and then possibly get taken out by either Hangman Page or Kenny, depends on where he lands on the bracket.
Right. Okay, before we move on from AEW, we got the big 1 anniversary show coming up, year 1.
Mm-hmm.
All the titles are on the line.
Yes.
Just kind of want to go through quick and maybe think if you guys think any of the titles will change hands. So first, we'll start off with the tag team match, FTR versus Best Friends. Does FTR lose the belts and go to Best Friends, or do they retain?
FTR retains.
Okay. Retains, okay. You have Hikaru Shida versus Big Swole, AEW Women's Championship match. I think Shida retains.
She retains.
Shida retains.
Okay. Cody versus Orange Cassidy, the big match we've been talking about, or at least storyline. Does Orange go over? Does Cody put Orange over? Or is Cody going to stay champion for now?
Yeah, that's
the big one, I think.
They're struggling, Jovanni, and I'm the same way. I'm gonna just spoiler alert. I'm probably gonna have the same reaction when we talk about Mox and Archer. But I mean, I want to say, my gut instinct is that I'm gonna say Cody retains.
Okay,
that's gonna be my knee-jerk reaction too. Cody's gonna go over.
Unfortunately, I think Cody must pose, so Cody wins. Then you said it, DJ or DDJ. We have Mox versus Lance Archer for the AEW World Championship. Is this the time Mox loses the title, goes to Archer because Archer had a shot at the TNT title? He lost. Can he take another championship loss, or is Mox going to go over somehow?
Okay. If any title is going to change hands, it's going to be this one.
Right.
Just because I think, like, I would love to see Mox chasing Archer to get the belt back.
Right.
Lance Archer is just a fucking badass.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't let him hear you swear.
What was that?
Oh, I just said, because I've had conversations with somebody that knows him. He says Lance doesn't like swearing. So
he doesn't like swearing at all.
Oh, excuse me. Let me go back. Lance Archer is a super awesome dude. And I think his bad buttery is out of this world. And I would love to see him with that title because I think he would be that the strong heel champion that most companies always seem to love, because that babyface chase.
Right.
And stuff. And so, I'm going to say if any title changes hands, it's going to be this one. In fact, I'm going to go out and predict that Archer takes it on Wednesday.
All right.
Everybody dies. I am going Archer.
Dark Order pose.
Join Dark Order.
I'm going Archer all the way. Their storyline's already built in to where you can see Cage and Archer. Maybe Ricky Starks gets squashed because the whole team Taz. If you make it, if you get it, we get a shot.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
That can also open up some possibilities with Kingston and the family. Kingston having claimed that Archer never beat him.
Yeah.
Brings Kingston back in the fold. And I mean, Spencer, you were there in the crowd. The people were nuts when they thought Eddie Kingston was going to win that Rumble.
I wanted Eddie Kingston to win that match.
So I think Archer going over, especially giving Moxley the opportunity to go back to Japan and defend his U.S. title so he doesn't get stripped again.
Yeah.
I think that's the move.
I totally forgot he was still champion over there.
Yeah.
I need to get that taken care of. I would love to pick Lance Archer. I think Mox retains. I'm still sticking with the storyline. I think Kenny's going to be the one to take the belt off Mox. I've heard it from a few of my friends, and I'm buying into it. I think Kenny's going to become the cleaner again. He's going to win this tournament, and he's going to take the title off Mox. Would love to see it on Lance Archer. It possibly could happen, and they can put it back on Mox, and then Kenny takes it. But I think Mox is going to retain. No championships are changing hands this Wednesday.
Can I say I think Kenny cost him the match?
That could possibly happen, yeah.
I think the anniversary, we get a role reversal. Instead of Mox behind Kenny, it'll be Kenny behind Mox, and that'll be the end of the match.
I didn't even think about that.
That'd be good, yeah.
The only reason why I don't see that, I mean, it's interesting and stuff, but I almost feel like I think Kenny's got to wrap up the story with Hangman before he moves on to something else. But that's just my opinion. But I mean, that'd be an interesting, wrinkle.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I think Kenny and Hangman are going to face each other in that tournament at Full Gear. We're still waiting on two more participants, but is that kind of where you guys might see it going to?
Yep.
It just seems like it's what they're building at. I mean,
right.
Kenny almost seemed like annoyed when, Hangman got announced for the tournament. He's like, oh, he's a tag team wrestler. He's a tag team wrestler and stuff, So, I just think I just think this whole tournament is set up for that. But again, the way AEW does their long-term booking that I think Spencer alluded to a little while ago, I think this is a great way to set up Kenny versus Hangman.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I think we've exhausted our AEW talk. Didn't get a chance to watch Impact, guys. Anything interesting happen worth of note?
Yes.
Okay.
Man, big time. I tell you, I got to stop disrespecting Impact.
Hey, I'm not trying to. I don't have time.
Jordan Grace.
Oh, yes.
Bound for Glory. She will be the next X Division champion.
Calling it now?
Calling it now.
All right.
I'm gonna jump on the Jovanni Too Hotty Jordan Grace bandwagon and say because I mean I was sitting there watching that, and don't get me wrong, Rohit Raju has been hilarious. I mean, I'm so glad that he's getting a chance to a legit run with the title, and I love his cowardly ways of he's trying to get around defending it, people. But watching that and then seeing Jordan Grace pin him, and then they announced her as a champion, I'm like,
yes.
Wait, now we're not talking about Lance Archer, so now I can cuss again, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm sitting there, I'm like, holy shit. And then of course, in pure Rohit Raju fashion, that wasn't a title match. And he gets the belt back. I'm like, damn it. But no. Bound for Glory. Jordan Grace gets that moment that a lot of people thought Tessa Blanchard was going to get last year at Bound for Glory, which I was there live for when she was also close to winning that X Division title.
Yep.
And obviously she would go on to win the world title. But I would not be surprised at all for Jordan Grace to win that title. And I'm just going to come out and say it. If somebody out there thinks, oh, it's another woman winning a man's title, dude, seriously.
I'll fight you.
I'm blocking you. You're just, whatever, because Jordan Grace is a one-of-a-kind talent. There is nobody out there that is like her.
Yeah.
She's also really cool. I've had the pleasure of meeting her one time. Really nice, down-to-earth person who deserves all the success in the world and stuff.
Okay.
And also, congratulations, Jordan Grace. Just got married to Gresham.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Congratulations, guys.
Yes, very much so. But like I said, I mean, she's built. I mean, just it's amazing. And she's a unique talent. And I think she would make a credible chance. And that's one thing I really liked about Impact is they've taken Jordan Grace. They've taken Tessa Blanchard.
Right.
Yep.
Not just made them, these women are legit. These are legit women's wrestlers.
Right.
They've turned those two into legit wrestlers.
Yes.
True. Yeah.
And that, so again, we have more set up for Bound for Glory. They had the little skit where they were interviewing Rich Swann at his doctor's office getting his ankle looked at, and Eric Young, who was in disguise, attacked, and basically I think they said I don't know if it's true or not, and Jovanni, if you know for sure, let me know if I'm wrong, but they re-broke his ankle or re-injured it or something and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was pretty big because that's just going to serve for the setup. And again, if we're early preview for when we do our Bound for Glory predictions, Rich Swann is getting that belt at Bound for Glory.
I'm starting to feel that way now too, and I'm a big EY fan.
I'm just trying to think of what else. I mean, we have more set up for the big 4-way tag team title match that was coming.
I think we need less of that. We're seeing these teams too much.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's gonna. They're all really good teams. I mean, you got the champions. The Motor City Machine Guns. You got the North, who I'm a huge fan of.
I love the North.
Yes, you got the Good Brothers, and then you got Madman Fulton and Ace Austin. So I mean, I think it's going to be a really good match. But yeah, I could see this getting stale real quickly because they're using the same teams consistently.
Right.
I think when Fulton and Ace Austin beat the Motor City Machine Guns clean, they should have gone again. That match to me had me thinking, oh my gosh, Ace and Fulton, this is an actual legit. They have a chance at this. Mm-hmm. But then the more and more they show them, then we get the fake false finishes or the DQ finishes, and we're dragging this out a little bit.
They're not winning.
I don't know. I'm losing hype on it. I'm thinking we probably get new champions, but I don't think it's going to be Ace Austin.
Okay. I don't either. I think we're getting new champions, and again, and I'm sure we're going to revisit this, in a couple weeks if we do predictions. But I would say early preview for that episode. Good Brothers are getting the belts.
Yes.
Yeah, I think like I said, I haven't even been keeping up with Impact, and I'm going to try to be a little bit more well informed by the time we get back. Again, there's no disrespect to Impact. I just do have a busy schedule. But
your hard time.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the Good Brothers will get those titles sooner rather than later as well down the line. But try to get more informed picks closer then. Now, you guys, before we move on to our roundtable discussion, you guys said Jordynne Grace probably is going to win the X Division title at Bound for Glory. Yes. Could you see a situation where they pull a Tessa Blanchard and have her go for the world title, or do you think the X Division might be where they cap her at?
I think right now the X Division, just because there's plenty of matchups for her there.
Right.
I think what happened to Tessa is the initial match against Sami Callihan. That was a real good match. When she won the belt, it felt credible that she had a credible win. But then you have her go against Brian Cage.
Yeah.
And some of the bigger muscle dudes, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, but that's not realistic." Well, you're not going to have that with Jordynne at all because she's a powerhouse.
Yeah,
but I think her skill set right now against that X Division is gonna be money.
I completely agree with what Jovanni Hotty just said. I mean, and it's nothing against Jordynne. For a little bit of a different reason, though. I mean, like I said, I agree. I think her skill set's better suited for the X Division, but I have a feeling that Impact is going to be hesitant about putting their World Heavyweight title on another woman.
Right.
Because of what happened with Tessa after that. I mean, I don't think she ever technically, maybe once against, I think it was Ace Austin at one of like the Impact specials and stuff.
Yeah.
But then the whole COVID hit and stuff. But I think they may have left a sour taste in Impact management's mouth with that. And again, no disrespect to Jordynne, because I don't see, that kind of would be an issue with Jordynne, because
exactly.
I think she's, a team player. I just think what happened with the whole Tessa thing, I think that's going to kind of make them hesitant to maybe do something at least so soon. But no, Jordynne Grace is, I think, tailor-made for the X Division. So again, she's going to, I think for that, that's perfect for her right now.
It's going to be money.
Yes.
Okay. Where did we go? There you go. Sorry. All right. So I just thought of something, and I do want to touch upon it before we do move on. So we've talked AEW and talked New Japan. First off, have you guys been keeping up with the G1 any?
A little bit.
I just haven't really had much time to go back and watch. So
okay. I haven't either, but I've been trying to keep up with the standings. I think in A block you got Jay White, Okada, Ibushi, and Will Ospreay. I think all have either 8 or 10 points, and then B block Naito has 10.
And I also believe, I think by virtue of beating Naito, I think it was Friday, Saturday, whatever, right? Like he actually just beat Naito, Evil, and I think Evil and Naito are tied at the top. But one of the things I guess I've been hearing about with this whole thing is that there may be some dissension in the Bullet Club because of the conflict of styles between Evil and Jay White. I know, I guess something like the way Evil won a match or something, like I guess Jay wasn't too happy about it or something.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of something that's coming out of this. And I know a lot of people were kind of forecasting this when Evil shocked the world and joined Bullet Club, was, that eventual that power struggle between him and Jay White. So I definitely seen a little bit more of that from what I've heard. Now, I feel bad because I know I've been hearing a lot of really good matches coming out of the G1, but it's true. I can't watch. Sometimes it's hard for me to watch New Japan and stuff for maybe the same reason why Spencer has a hard time watching Impact, because there's so much wrestling out there.
There really is.
Yes.
It's like between Monday nights, between Wednesday nights, between Friday nights, between pay-per-views, between Tuesday nights Impact. It's just, there's so much, and it's just, and all of us have work and stuff. It's just so much. It's so hard to to kind of keep up with everything. So I just, a lot of times in New Japan, I keep up with going online, and then I'll watch the big shows and stuff. So
with the G1, I know I called my shot way early with Will Ospreay, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay.
I see it being Will and Evil at the end.
Okay.
With Jay White doing something to kind of get Evil distracted. Something happens to lead up to White and Evil for the Bullet Club.
Okay, that'd be interesting. So, is your official pick? You're saying Will Ospreay still?
Yes.
Okay. Dennis, the tournament is ending, I think, either Saturday or Sunday officially. I think you picked Jay White the same as I did. Are you still sticking with that, or you want to switch it up?
No, I'm still sticking with Jay White, but I do like what Jovanni scenario of an Ospreay Evil final where Jay White cost Evil the match. Yeah,
I think that would definitely be interesting too. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about was on the 30th anniversary special of AEW, we had Hiroshi Tanahashi. He came in and said, "Hey, congratulations to Chris Jericho," and then you had footage of Jon Moxley and Lance Archer's match from New Japan, I think Wrestle Kingdom this year, their Texas Death match for the United States Championship. Then you had, I think, Evil Uno and Orange Cassidy tweeting about the Best of the Super Juniors tournament, which is coming up.
Yep.
So I want to know, do you guys think there's a partnership brewing between AEW and New Japan, or are they kind of just teasing us and acknowledging it and nothing's really happening right now?
It's coming.
Okay. I think so too. I think we got a little bit of the dipping the toe in the water back at the second night of Wrestle Kingdom when Jericho wrestled Tanahashi, where the stipulation was if Tanahashi won, the gate would be open and Tanahashi would get a future AEW title shot.
Right.
I know there are some people out there, and I'm not going to name names because I'm not going to call anybody out, but there are some people out there who do not want to see this happen because they think New Japan is better than everything else. But my whole thing is if this would be something that's going to help to where everybody wins. So I really hope it is. And I think, yes, we are going to see something because to get like the pictures and stuff, when they showed the stuff with, and Archer, and then getting Tanahashi, they had to have gotten some kind of clearance from New Japan to do it. And I think Jericho's history with New Japan and stuff, I think is really playing into this and that. So I definitely, if it happens, awesome. So
and I think it was some changes at the top in New Japan that are kind of letting this happen now. So
yes, which actually. That's one other thing that's we should probably touch base on is that New Japan president Harold Meij, I don't know how to say his last name.
Not even try.
I believe stepped down.
Yep.
Yeah.
And stuff. So from what I've heard, that the guy, whoever they bring in, like that's going to help increase the likelihood that we see this partnership? Because I guess Harold was like not for it or something. I mean, I could be wrong.
I think he was spurned when the Bucks and Kenny left, and then they took Hangman and, a lot of the American wrestlers from New Japan basically came to AEW. Right. So I think he had that whole thing still pent up, and it kind of still hurt a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right. So I'll give my thoughts on it. I think.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I think there is something brewing. I don't think it's probably coming anytime soon. Anytime soon, being the end of this year, possibly next year. But this is starting to show, like with the videos, the repackages, and Tanahashi showing up on AEW and them tweeting about the best of Super Juniors. I think something is coming, and if it does happen by the end of this year, and AEW talent shows up in New Japan and they acknowledge AEW, or maybe Best Friends or somebody are in the best of the Super Juniors, that would be great. So, like I said, I'm going to go back to how you talked about Ali and the thing. I'm cautiously optimistic. I think it is coming, but there's no telling. So we'll see.
Right.
Okay.
So, one more thing before we move on to the roundtable. Let's go back to Wednesday and talk about NXT.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys watched, but first off, welcome back, Ember Moon. She looked great.
Yes, there we go.
Very happy to see her back. But God, if you want, I haven't seen it, and you're not faint of heart, you need to go see that what happened with Ridge Holland. I mean, that was bad.
Yeah, it's comparable to Dak Prescott's today.
Oh,
horrible.
Oh God, yeah.
Thoughts were with both those guys.
Yes, absolutely, and stuff. And for those of you that maybe didn't see or what happened was Ridge Holland had a match with Danny Burch. I believe he beat Danny Burch, pretty decisively, and then I guess he was, still, beating on him. And then Danny Burch's partner, Oni Lurkin, came out, and got involved. And, Ridge was doing a hell of a job fighting them both off. But I believe it was the second over-the-top rope dive that Lorcan did. Ridge caught him, and then you could just see his knee just buckle out from under him.
Yeah.
And he went down and just went right away, just clutched the knee. The refs were all over him. One of them threw up the X. They pulled Lorcan off and stuff. And, I mean, it was just, bad. Like, I really wasn't too much. And I mean, again, because I don't know much of Ridge Holland and stuff, but man, I don't wish anything like that on anybody because he's what these guys are doing and stuff.
And he was in for a push because that takeover, he did the whole bombardment of Adam Cole. And just to have that happen, that's just unfortunate.
Yeah,
and a wrinkle in that was, I guess he alluded to when questioned about it, is that someone paid him off to do it. Yeah. So that could easily, okay, so now do they hold off on the storyline until he gets back, or do they maybe throw someone else in the mix now to, maybe get Adam Cole again, and then they can bring that storyline up. But yeah, I just really wanted to touch base on that, and I also wanted to touch base on, Ember Moon's comeback, because from tremendous, remarkable, comeback story for her to be out for over a year. And to come back from something that most people thought she wasn't going to. And I think she was even
on the fence.
On backstage, she was like, saying, I don't know if I'm coming back from this or not.
Right.
So, on one end, we got the feel good story of Ember Moon coming back. But then on the other end of the spectrum, the whole Ridge Holland injury is, it's just
unfortunate.
Yeah, that's absolutely terrible. Again, thoughts go out to Ridge Holland. We talked about it. Dax, he hurt his injury. That's NFL. Thoughts go out to him too. And it's definitely great to have Ember back. I think she is going to get, a nice push. She's going to get a championship match with Io Shirai. And then I think also I didn't get a chance to watch TakeOver, but I did see Toni Storm is coming back to NXT. So big fan of Tony, so that's great. And then I think.
All right, Spencer, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Right. Well, you can only go out on a date with one of these two women. Who are you choosing? Tony Storm or Anna Jay?
Ooh, the tension.
I don't like this segment. Okay. Since I am kind of over Anna Jay and I'm taking a break from her, but Tony's okay. Does Tony have a boyfriend in this one, or is she single?
I believe in real life she's dating Juice Robinson.
Yeah, lucky SOB. Possibly a future guest on the PWJ markout, so stay tuned.
Ooh.
But if we're going, she doesn't have a boyfriend, I would probably go Tony.
No strings attached.
I would probably go Tony.
All right. Sorry to put you on the spot, but it just popped in my head. So,
hey,
who wouldn't want to be Eskimo brothers with Juice Robinson? Come on.
Oh my God!
Man, Jovanni with another grand slam.
Oh my God! I've literally just thought of, I don't know if you guys have ever seen The League. That's exactly what I thought of that.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll say that for another time. We got to get going. Okay, so that wraps up our kind of like weekly discussion. I know it was very long. There was a lot to touch with. Next, we're going to our roundtable discussion. This week's topic: why are we wrestling fans? What got us into wrestling? I'll throw it to Dennis first. Why are you a wrestling fan? What got you into it, and why are you still a wrestling fan?
All right, so why am I a wrestling fan? Simply put, because it is an escape from reality.
Yes.
I mean, I can have the worst day, and other than walking into my house to my 5-year-old son who's so excited to see me, like that is the greatest cure for like a crappy day. The second greatest cure was watching professional wrestling, because I can see these guys in the ring telling stories, beating the crap out of each other, and it's like they're doing the work of working out all the aggression that I built up during the day.
Right.
To me, it's just an amazing form of entertainment that I think the majority of non-wrestling fans don't understand and will never fully understand.
Right.
And stuff. But at the same time, but again, it's something for me. What made me a wrestling fan was my grandfather. He used to have it on all the time when like I would go, like my mom and dad would, the family would go over there. And my grandpa and my grandmother on my dad's side lived about not even 10 minutes from me, maybe about a 5-minute drive from the house I grew up in. And a lot of times I'd go over there. You know, he'd be sitting in his chair, you know, with the TV on, and he'd be watching wrestling. And I had no idea what this was, but the more and more that I saw it as I would go over there, I got more and more into it and just like understanding it. And it eventually became the way that my grandfather and I bonded.
Okay.
Nice.
So a lot of times, you know, like he would always get the pay-per-views, and I would always go over there and watch him with him. And, you know, we had so many good times with that. Fast forward a little bit, I want to say 92, my dad got, and I don't know if either of you guys are, I know Spencer's probably not old enough to remember this, but if he is.
Yeah, I was born in 92.
Yeah, you probably don't remember this, but back in the 90s, if you had a hot box, you were the shit.
Yes.
And for our younger audience.
Yeah, what's a hot box?
Thank you, Spencer. I was actually going to say for our younger audience and our number 11 here, a hot box was basically looked like your typical cable box that was big back in the day, but you had access to everything. And when I say everything, you had all the channels, you had the pay-per-views, you had Playboy, and you had the Spike.
Everything.
So basically, as a teenager, if you had a hot box, you had free wrestling and free porn.
Wow.
You were the sleepover king.
Yes. But anyways, So I'm sorry, I just kind of had to elaborate a little bit. So we get that. So being able to watch the hot box and stuff was cool. But one of the things, and I think my mom told me this one time, is like you still need to go over to your grandpa's house and watch it with him. I had no issues with that because again, that was our thing.
Yeah.
And if I get a little emotional here, please bear with me because this is a story that I've only shared a couple times in the last, God, I don't know how long. Shout out to Brad Marcus and his work with Getting to Know a Junkie. Actually, the story is going to be on the episode he did with me that drops. It should be out by the time this gets released. But I lost my grandfather back in 2000. And a couple of days, or I think it was the night before we were to bury him. It was like my great aunt or something like I can't remember exactly how she was related to me. Had came to me and said, I don't know if you ever knew this or not, but your grandpa loved it when you would come over and watch the pay-per-views with him. Like he looked forward to that. And I didn't know this, like I didn't really know. So this was hearing this. I mean, it floored me because I didn't realize how much this meant to my grandpa
right
and stuff. So a few months before he died, he had, I believe it was open heart surgery or something like that. And he was in the hospital for a while. I was working at Toys R Us at the time, and one day I was like working, straightening up the toy aisle, and I was where they had the wrestling figures, and they had these little, like miniature-sized WCW wrestling buddy guys, and so I got one, the Sting one, because I think that was his favorite guy. But when I think WCW, because that's what my grandfather got me into, is WCW,
right.
And stuff, I always think of Sting. So I got this here, and I gave it to him as like a get well present while he was in the hospital. My great aunt, I'll just say it's because I think that's what she was. I'm not 100% sure. Came to me the night before his funeral and handed me the doll and was like, do you want to keep this? And I thought about it for a minute, and stuff. And I was like, and I thought to myself in my mind, I'm thinking, I have all these memories of watching wrestling with him, and it's like, so that's like how I'm going to stay connected to him. Right. And I wanted there to be a little piece of that like of me that was with him. So I took the doll, and while we had the last viewing, like where we go see for the last time and stuff before before they close the casket, and we would do the procession to the cemetery. I took the Sting doll, and sorry.
It's all right.
You're good, man.
I put it in the casket with him. And that way, that piece of me was always with him. And I would always, and to this day, every time I watch a wrestling pay-per-view and every time I watch a wrestling show, I think about those moments when I was on the couch with my grandfather and we were watching, wrestling. Like, the Great American Bash 1991 is universally regarded as one of the worst pay-per-views ever, but it holds a special place in my heart because that was the first pay-per-view I ever watched with my grandfather.
Nice.
So yeah. So now why I'm still into wrestling is because of stuff like this, because wrestling has given me this outlet to do stuff like this with you guys, to do my own podcast. What do you say with DDJ? Had to get the plug in.
Of course.
But like I said, it's just the friendships I've made out of this with like you guys and and all the guys in the Pro Wrestling Junkies and just in general. My best friend and I became friends after we used to work together at Toys R Us, and we would see each other, be like, hey, how's it going? That kind of thing. But we ran into each other at a WWE house show one time. And when we realized that we were wrestling fans,
right,
that's when our friendship started, and that's and stuff. So
yeah,
I became friends with my best friend as a result of pro wrestling. I've been able to do things like this show and my own podcast because of professional wrestling. I've met just some really cool people who I consider to be lifelong and really good friends as a result of pro wrestling. So that, and just the interactions I've had with meeting the wrestlers and just the memories that I've been able to make because of that. That's why to this day, I still watch wrestling, and I will still watch it till the day I die.
Nice.
Yeah, Jovanni.
Why I watch wrestling currently, or I think it's for me. I love the storytelling. It's wrestling at its core is escapism.
Right.
It's something that takes you away from your norm. Maybe you've wanted to be a wrestler. Maybe you've watched it your whole life, and you still watch it because history repeats itself. These storylines repeat. You can see where it's going. You kind of get to the point where you're like, oh, what are they going to do to spice this up, or how are they going to change up the storyline and see how it goes? Or you could be someone like me, and I'm like, oh, I know where this is going. This is going to be good.
Right.
I think the initial thing that got me into wrestling was also my grandfather. My grandfather was a big Westerns fan, and I mean, he would watch Gunsmoke, Rifleman, anything that was a Western-related thing he was into.
Right.
So imagine my surprise when I see him watching wrestling one day. And I'm sitting on the sofa with him, and I said, Papa, what are you watching? And he said, boy, that's wrestling. I said, well, what's wrestling? He said, well, look at this man here in these boots. And out came Cactus Jack. And Cactus Jack was my entrance, my foray into wrestling through my papa.
Right.
And here came this
crap out of me when I first saw it.
Yeah. It's just, this wild-haired man who wrestled in boots. And my grandfather was like, that's so kick-ass. He's kicking ass and taking names in them cowboy boots, boy. And I said, I see. And, we would watch countless matches. We've seen a lot of wrestling together. I think one of the funnier moments is when Lucha Underground came out, and we were just brazing through the channels, and he goes, is that wrestling? I said, yeah, it's some kind of new show. Let's watch it. And just the difference that Lucha Underground was. If you guys haven't seen Lucha Underground, pull it up. But he sat down, and we watched for a good while, and he goes, boy, they done came a far long way from what we were watching. And I said, yeah, they've gotten more athletic nowadays.
Right.
But as into, what keeps me here into the community, man. And I think it's just like DDG said, it's a community. The Wrestling Junkies, the page that we have right here on Facebook.
Great plug.
Tell you, keep up. We provide a really open place that people can get together. We mark out individual and the digital markouts. We have these podcasts. We do random giveaways, do random, events and things where you can get stuff. And for a lot of fans, like me growing up, I didn't have wrestling collectibles. I mean, heck, we barely had wrestling toys. We weren't in the position to where we could have gotten all those things. So we offer this opportunity to whoever's on the page, man. It's amazing what we do. And I think that's one reason that I'm still in the community. One reason why I'm not going to ever leave the community. And it's just the sense of community that you have with the wrestling family.
One thing I want to just add, and then obviously I want Spencer to get his time stuff, because it just made me, Jovanni, with what you're just saying, just made me think of something. Wrestling fans, out of any fan base I know of, like I'm talking baseball, football, video games, basically anything else that has a fan base that I know of and stuff. Wrestling fans are really the coolest people out there. I mean, there's nothing like, sitting in a line waiting for a meet and greet.
Yeah.
You can just sit there and just strike up a conversation with someone waiting next to you.
Yes.
I mean, can you really do that anywhere else?
No.
Well,
have you ran into somebody in the wild wearing another Bullet Shirt Club and you're wearing a Bullet Shirt Club? That's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And that's so. All right, Spence.
All right, well, I don't think I'm going to have like an emotional story. You had Dennis or anything with y'all, but I'm going to try to.
It's in a competition, man.
But yeah, thank you for sharing, guys. Dennis, it's great. Had your grandfather and you had that great story. I teared up a little bit. That was very heartfelt and touching. So thank you for sharing.
My pleasure. Thank you for letting me have this outlet to share the story.
Absolutely. And then Jovanni, thank you for sharing as well. It's great to still have you as part of the wrestling community and everything. So I would probably say I got into wrestling, I think first because, well, let me preface this. I am was, and am still a Power Rangers fan. And if you know about that, it's
nice.
like,
yes.
Right, so it's like action packed, and you had all the action and everything. And I think that is probably, I wouldn't say that maybe got me into it, but it got me interesting because when I saw wrestling, I saw people like performing these martial arts and performing these stunts in the ring. And I'm just like, wow, that's like, Power Rangers. I could relate to that. So then my brother, he showed me that, and I started watching it when I was young. I can't really remember much of it, but I think probably the first time I remember like wrestling is like probably 2007. Started watching Raw, SmackDown, all those. Got into Impact a little bit. That's where I found my favorite wrestler, AJ Styles, still to this day. Actually lives like 30 minutes from me in Gainesville, Georgia. So
nice.
AJ. Then I think about 2011 or 2012, I actually just fell off. I don't know why. I just stopped watching it. I think I kept up with it a little bit, but not as hardcore as I am today. And then 2016 came around, SummerSlam of that year. I found out AJ Styles was in the WWE. And I was like, okay, how did this all happen? I've been gone for like 4 years and all this stuff happened. So then basically immediately I started picking up on Raw and started watching. I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to start watching it again and see where this goes. So I started watching Raw, SmackDown, started discovering like the Bullet Club, New Japan, Being the Elite, all this stuff outside of wrestling. And then I was actually fortunate enough to be able to go to like the first big independent show before AEW was a thing, All In.
I was there too.
And I too. See, it's funny how this thing works. It's a very small world. We're coming together now. We were at this one event. We didn't even know each other back then, but now, we're podcast hosts. So I would say we're pretty good friends.
Yep.
So it's crazy how, wrestling works. You take these people that you probably wouldn't have even talked to before, but then wrestling, you find out you have wrestling in common, and it brings you together. Like, as you were saying, Jovanni, you have this sense of community and togetherness, and pretty much wrestling. I agree with you. I think wrestling fans are probably the best fans. Like, sports fans, like they might argue it's like, oh, my team's better, whatever. Like, they just love arguing and supporting their team, there's no problem with that. But if like a wrestling fan, like, you can argue, but then like have good points for arguing, or have find a common ground with a favorite wrestler or a favorite match or company or whatever. And as you were saying also, Dennis, you could go to a meet and greet and just start up a conversation with somebody, start talking about a match or the wrestler you're having you want to meet. So that's awesome. Just the sense of community. And then that's led to, Pro Wrestling Junkies today. That's what we wanted to be. Me, Jacob, everybody else involved with it, you, Dennis, you, Jovanni, every other admin, anybody else on the page, we wanted this to be a positive wrestling community, a place to come, share your thoughts on wrestling. We got our, WQF merchandise. We got the memes. We got the photos. We got the comment contest. We have all this stuff, this interactivity. I don't even know if that's a real word. But it gives these the fans or members, these people, a chance, to find people that maybe might share the common interest or same bond, and just be able to just talk wrestling with them. Pretty much a safe space. Like, it is a positive wrestling community, and we accept everybody, black, white, Mexican, Asian, bi, lesbian. It doesn't matter. Wrestling just brings everybody together. Like,
Yep.
There was Effie's Big Gay Brunch last night from the Collective. They had all these other shows that happened this week, but that just shows like wrestling fans, like, they'll pretty much accept anything. So it's just great to see that. And coming back to me, like, I've basically been like hardcore since about 2016, 2017. And, the reason I've stayed, I'll keep saying this, the community is great. I love talking and interacting with you guys and everybody in like Dennis, our VIP group, and everybody, like, just, all these people are amazing to talk with. And then in the Junkies group. And I absolutely love the series that our man Brad Marcus is doing, the Getting to Know Junkie. As you stated, Dennis, you are tomorrow. We had I think Erin Marie, she was on there. Sarah Vichik.
Johnny Poda.
Yeah, Johnny Poda.
Poda.
I still haven't watched that one. I know he'll get around to me, and then you too, Jovanni. But it's great to now have this spotlight on us and be able to like tell our stories and why we're wrestling fans and just be able to hear that. So for me, what has kept me a fan is like I do love the storytelling. I love the high spots. I love the matches. I love the wrestlers. I think it is the community, like just this place to just be a wrestling fan and have a safe space. So I think that's why I'm still a wrestling fan to this day and will be for the foreseeable future.
Awesome. So real quick story I want to add on to the whole, just striking up a conversation, waiting to meet and greet.
Right.
So it's all out weekend and Pro Wrestling Tees had a bunch of people, at their store for meet and greet and stuff.
Right.
And,
Yep.
I think I went to all of them except for the Kenny Omega one. And so the first one was the Cody Brandy book sign, Cody's, children's book.
Right.
So, I got, one for my son, signed for it, and I had him, make it out to him and stuff. So I was at the front line. I was actually the first one there. And two of the people I talked with are actually both really good friends of mine to this day. One of them is I know we all talk about being the elite. The little animation that at the end with like the Young Bucks? Like,
yes.
Actually, I met the person who actually does that.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, her name is Maria. I think it's Ling Polson. And if I'm saying that wrong, I don't think she's a part of this group, although I should reach out to her and have her join because
absolutely.
Come on.
But and she's actually come in. I believe she was from somewhere over in Europe, like I want to say Denmark or something like it's one of those, European countries. And if you're listening to this, I'm so sorry. But she was just an awesome person. And like she was telling us about what was like that. And then she handed me and my other friend, Mustafa, who's in our VIP, group, Spencer, that, these little like almost like photo size cards and stuff, but basically just different bits of animation that she's done, like some of the characters in that style and stuff.
Right.
Nice. And that was all again just from just sitting there talking. So I just wanted to put that story out there and stuff because I thought it was really cool and stuff. So
yeah, okay. I actually kind of just thought of a story too, if you'll allow me.
Go for it.
Yeah, so I was going to All In. I was trying to find a ride there because like Uber is expensive, like $20 to try to get there to the arena.
Especially with stuff like that, that's when they really screw you.
Yeah,
for sure.
Surcharge.
Yep.
Oh.
I know I used to drive. Well, I still do, but yeah, I kind of have a little bit of understanding how Uber works and stuff after having driving for them and stuff. So, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I've actually done that too, so I understood that too. And like when we got out of the arena, it was like $120, so we just had to wait for a cab, which was like an hour and a half. But anyways, the whole point is, I met these three guys that I still kind of keep in contact with. Two of them more than the other one. But Craig, Tony, and Ryan, if you guys listen to this, I met them going to All In. Didn't know who they were, but they were just pretty cool. Then we hung out at the first Flips All Out party. We exchanged numbers, had all that. And like after we left, like we've still been in contact. Like I've invited them to this group, to our AEW league predictions, and they've become pretty good friends. And I hope one day, whenever all this pandemic is over, I can hang out with them, hang out with you guys, hang out with all our Pro Wrestling Junkies fans. Like one day, I know Jacob says this to me, and I would love for it to come to fruition. We want to rent out a box. We want to have like a big meet and greet, a PWJ meet and greet. So one day that'll happen, which would be amazing. I hope we would get on that level. There's no telling when it'll happen. We could just blow up overnight, but yeah, that would be amazing. So any final thoughts before we move on to class?
I've got one story too. Since
Go ahead.
We're telling stories about our wrestling friends, and I've got a pretty good one too.
Go ahead.
I think it was in Vegas, so that was Double or Nothing.
Yeah, buddy.
Me and a good friend of mine go to Double or Nothing. He's not a wrestling fan, but I took him, and he's starting to get into it now.
Nice.
Okay.
And after the actual event, we go to this small little bar named Dino's, which is, I think they call it the smallest dive bar in Vegas or whatever.
Okay.
Karaoke, drinks galore, that kind of little bar. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I've got my Young Bucks t-shirt on, and out of nowhere, this guy that was sitting at the bar sees me, and from across the bar is starting to yell out, "Young Bucks!"
Nice.
And I'm at that point too. I'm like, "Yeah, Bucks!" And he comes over, we start talking. He goes, "Hey, my name is Rocky. I was at the show. Were you there?" I'm like, "Heck yeah, I was at the show."
Yeah.
We start, talking about the show, and he adds me on Facebook, and I, accept it. We talk and chat and everything, and we become friends, and I'm on one of his little pages. He's on our page now.
Okay, awesome.
And then what was the last one we just went to, Spencer? The one in Jacksonville, All Out.
Yep.
Should have been
All Out comes around. All Out comes to Jacksonville.
Pandemic.
Everything in Chicago. I'm tired of driving to Chicago. I'm joking. I love Chicago.
Yeah, bring him to Atlanta.
But I'm looking to go to, All Out. And Spencer's like, "I think I have tickets. Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Maybe. Let me see if I can get money to go.
Yeah.
Or if I can make it work." Well, then I'll know where my friend Rocky's like, "Dude, I got tickets. Does anybody want to go?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to go. Let's go. Me and you." And Rocky and I, it was funny because he put a post on there. He goes, "Man, I met this guy at Double or Nothing, and here we are at All Out the next year." So
that's
it's
awesome.
just crazy the friendships you make through wrestling, man.
Yeah.
So shout out Rocky if you're watching. You should be watching. I told you to watch.
I've got
Rocky.
more stories I'd love to share, but we could save it for another time.
Yeah, we're one hour and 20 minutes already, man.
Yeah.
We got to go to class first, so
yeah,
we'll save those stories for another time. But thanks for sharing, guys. Appreciate it. But hey, it's time for class with Professor Jovanni Hotty and Professor DDJ. So last week we did Brian Pillman Jr. This week
we did Brian Pillman Sr.
Oh,
father. My bad. Brian Pillman Sr. Thinking about that. This week I got another kind of WCW, WWE alum for you guys. This past week it was the birthday of the late great Eddie Guerrero, Latino Heat.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So guys, what you got for me?
All right, Jovanni.
Dennis does. Halloween Havoc, Rey Mysterio, and Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was coming.
Yeah. I had to get it out. That's gonna be a quick one.
Right.
All right. So I'm gonna go back a couple of years prior to that match. This is when Guerrero was just kind of making a name for himself in the States. ECW, his very last night. It also happened to be the very last night of another person in ECW, and that would be Dean Malenko.
Oh.
They had, I believe it was a 2 out of 3 falls match that literally just, to this day, it's my favorite Eddie Guerrero match. I can't remember offhand what episode of ECW it was on, but I'm sure it could be easily found if you do a Google search, and it's on the network. So because I think ECW, but man, they had a 2 out of 3 falls match that just, I think if I'm not mistaken, that broadcast was the only match they had on. Like they went almost an hour, and if I'm not mistaken, it went to a draw. Like each guy got a pinfall, and then the end was a double pinfall. And then literally after that, and this was the first time I think I'd ever seen anything. Well, no, I shouldn't take that back because there was the whole Bret Hart after he won the title WrestleMania 10 thing where literally the entire roster came out to the ring and just like they gave like just a send off for these guys because this was their last night, and man, what a way for them to go out. So yeah, if you have not seen it, go find the very last match that Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko had against each other in ECW. It was 2 out of 3 falls. That's my first match to recommend. Guerrero.
I'm gonna throw in WrestleMania 20, Eddie against Brock. The match itself.
That was actually No Way.
No Way Out.
Yeah, No Way Out.
No Way Out.
That's the one I was thinking of.
There we go. So wrong one. Dang.
Sorry, I didn't mean to correct you, but we don't want to mislead our audience. So.
Oh no, hey, I was wrong on the pay-per-view. That's good with me. So No Way Out, Eddie and Lesnar. That great matches. It was just a big win. Finally, that big win. I think in the WWE that he was needing.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
Right.
So I'm going to go back to another, because I always like, when I do this kind of stuff, I always like to give matches that maybe not a lot of people think of and stuff, because like you mentioned Guerrero Mysterio, Guerrero Lesnar.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to a match sold, the very first NWO pay-per-view sold out, I believe it was January of 1997. He had just this off the charts ladder match with Six, aka X-Pac, on Waltman. And I mean, man, these guys just went. And just, again, it was easily the best match on a really bad pay-per-view, because I know that like is usually panned by a lot of wrestling fans. But if you're going to watch anything from that, watch that ladder match, because that was just something. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that may have been the only that night. I believe that was the only time a WCW wrestler actually legit won a match over an NWO guy that night and stuff. So that, and stuff. So yeah, definitely go check out Eddie Guerrero versus Six from NWO sold out 1997.
Stay away from Guerrero and Rey Mysterio for the Dominic. Stay away. Please stay away.
Yeah, they're rehashing that storyline, or they did rehash it on Raw.
Jesus.
Now on to SmackDown now.
Yeah.
But yeah, any more recommendations, or because those are some really good ones.
Yeah.
Find them going against
guys again. Yeah. Guys, please again watch these matches, and like I said, let us know what you think on this, because we're doing this just to like maybe broaden your horizons, or maybe give you a chance to go back and watch a classic or something. But please, we invite you to let us know on in the Facebook Junkies group. Let us know what you think about these matches. And again, if you have other Eddie Guerrero matches you like, let us know. Let the audience know. This isn't just about what we want you to see. We want everybody to kind of feel like they have some say.
The man was a legend. He had an amazing career, so there's got to be plenty to dig in.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, like Dennis said, please make sure you guys leave us comments on our Facebook group page, our YouTube page. Let us know what you guys think of the matches. If you have any more matches you have to recommend. So yeah, let's get the conversation going. We would love to read your comments or talk about these on the air next week's episode. So yeah, make sure you leave your comments and let's talk about it. But I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight, guys. Do you have any final thoughts?
I just want to say again, this is a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing this and stuff, and I just look forward to doing this more and more and stuff. But yeah, that's about all I got, because my ass is starting to fall asleep.
Yeah, I got to get to bed soon.
Let's wrap it.
All right. So, hey, guys, thank you for tuning in another episode of the Junkyard. Kind of update, these have been test episodes. Hopefully, maybe in a few weeks, we will start having like official episodes, having titles, sound, music. We're actually working on a new logo. I think you guys will absolutely love it.
Man, I've seen it. It is
amazing.
It fits what the Junkyard is. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's going to do it for tonight, guys. My name's number 11.
Jovanni 2 Hotty.
And DDJ.
All right, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks.